All right. Thanks everybody for taking the time to be with us tonight. It's another YOTA Tuesday, and it is the 1st of November. So we're rolling right through the Year of the Artist. We cheated a little bit by making it almost 2 years, and we're going to keep. And as I've said before, the Year of the Artist is really just going to become the way we do things in Roanoke, we hope. And what I mean by that is that we are working to advance community goals through the arts. We're integrating artists in civic problem solving. And I read a cool article today. It actually came out last year, but I just found it. Well, it wasn't today, it was this weekend. I just found it. But it was talking about how it's a study that an urban planner did that said that they are tracking and documenting that there is more investment in the arts when it's aligned with civic problem solving. So people kind of get all those intersections. So if you care about health, or if you care about stormwater, if you care about, you name the things that we're engaging in, that it just attracts more resources for arts and more support for artists. So we're excited by that, and we're exploring and experimenting together. Everything we're doing for the first time. So we're learning as we go, and we hope that that's a way we can be in the community as well. If you think you can't try something new, and the people are going to be gunning for you when you step out there, it's a big disincentive to trying anything, and that's not the kind of community we want to be. We're paying artists. And we're working to strengthen the network of artists. We had lost the Arts Council of the Blue Ridge a number of years ago. And I think there's a lot more we can do to, strengthen these connections. One thing, as we got started, and we're still like hanging here with Zoom, and we're starting to do more in-person sessions. But that's one thing I know that everybody took a blow during the pandemic, and not being able to meet face-to-face. And it made building relationships harder. And I know we want to get back to even more face-to-face and strengthening those connections. Really important. And I want to keep thinking about this, in that when we're all trying to do, we were just saying before the meeting started that there's so much happening, trying to do a lot. We really want to do this with a sense of play and having fun. And I've got to catch myself. Sometimes I get a little too serious as I'm trying to get contracts done, or memorandums of understanding, or their frustrations. And sometimes I had to stop and just go, wait a minute. We said we're having fun, we're going to have fun. And even though these other parts or pieces of it can get frustrating sometimes, we can't let that get in the way. And that's what really makes it a kind of a community that people want to be part of. And I was talking to some folks the other day about advocacy for the arts. And one of the biggest ways I think that we can advocate for the arts and arts investment is just to be out there doing it, having fun. And we've got some great models of people who are in the call tonight who are out there very visibly doing it and having fun. So tonight, we're going to do a little reflection question. We'll do updates and reminders. We'll have, oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Make sure, I'm in the wrong thing. Let me escape here real quick. See how things will go a little awry? But can you tell that I was getting ahead? That I was actually working on, I was doing next week's session. How's that? Yeah. And let me share this now. That's pretty impressive that I was actually working on next week's session in a way. So we'll reflect on the sessions. We've had a couple of in-person sessions, so that's going to be our opening tonight. Then we've got some updates and reminders. Tonight's a very simple meeting, but there's a really cool call that's out, and I want to invite Annie when we get to that part to tell us about it. Annie Schultz, who's with Art on First. And then we're going to have just a space to talk about what we're learning, celebrate things that are happening with our projects, and then kind of go into any questions and challenges that we might be having. On the updates or reminders, we'll hear about some new grants that are being awarded as well. So with that, let me step back and say that we have had several in-person sessions, and we talked last week. We gave a little update from got a little update from Catherine on the from artist to business owner. Then we had the session hosting effective meetings as community artist, and that's recorded online. And then last week we had expanding your work as an artist and collaborator. And I did hear from Catherine Schnabel, who led that. She's already done some follow-up with participants. And let me see if it was anybody who was, let's see, is anybody, oh, Samantha was here, and Jane. Let's get a little feedback, or a little, let's share with the group if anybody's willing to, just one little takeaway you had from that session. This was a session done at Ursula's Cafe, and we had maybe 10 people there, I think, about that. Anybody, Jane, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. It was just a really great way of, I guess, tuning into your own, my own authenticity where my work is concerned, really zoning in on what it is that turns me on about my work. And that little questionnaire she did was great. I was like, what turns me on about it? And it's like, it's the aha moment when somebody sees something that's supposed to be explain something about, a social problem. And they're like, oh, I get it. Like 460 signs are the number of homeless kids in Roanoke. Oh, I get it. And that's just what really excites me. And she really brought that out. And then it's okay to really involve people when you're collaborating. Like, don't just show them, invite them into it.
Excellent. Thanks, Jane. Samantha, do you have any follow on?
Yeah, it was really great. Kind of building off what Jane said, Catherine really challenged us to think about what mattered to us in the terms of art making and the kind of things that we may or may not be interested in. We filled in these slices of the pie where we listed all of the things we might be interested in the realm of art making, teaching others about art, doing pop-up shops, doing artist talks. And she said, kind of color in what the percentages that how much it fills you up. So fill up this page. And that was really interesting way to think about kind of your artistic practice. And I know that was helpful for me. I figured out, oh, well, I'm not really interested in all of these things yet. And some people were surprised about the things that they were interested in comparison to others. So. Yeah,
I really enjoyed the style of the workshop or session. I'm not sure if it's called a workshop, a session, a hangout. And what I enjoyed most about it is hearing from the others who were in the room. Julia, do you have any thoughts on it?
That's very similar as the other ladies, as far as finding out, like, you think your art and you think what makes you tick, but then the way that Catherine put it out there is like, what really, like, get down to the nitty gritty. Is it one-on-one? Is it 1-on-3, 1-on-5, or a group of people? Or do you like being in the background? Do you like just talking about your stuff, or you like showing your stuff, and how that all intertwines with what makes you tick and how to help others come into what you like to do. So I found it very helpful and very enlightening.
Yeah, I had a few takeaways like that, and one of them too was kind of the language of your art, and sharing the language of your art with folks as a way of engaging them with your process a bit. And we talked a lot about how important the process is in these projects, and how we're really focused on kind of that creative process and sharing it in new spaces. It's part of the civic problem solving as well. And we'll talk more about that next week. And okay, well, yeah, I think that was a great session. And then I'm going to share my screen again. And then let's see, our upcoming schedule, we've got a slight change. Oops, a slight change. We are not going to have a session on November 15th. that was going to be the local food and local art session. We're going to push that to the spring. And I think that's not going to cause us any troubles at all. Next week, we have a session on art as creative problem solving. And I think we'll have some kind of exercises, and it should be a pretty fun kind of sharing conversation. I think we're going to talk about, if you pop on and are willing to share a little bit, I think we'll talk a little bit about your process as an artist, and we'll talk about, we'll kind of look at a framework for problem solving, and do a little thinking around that. And then on the 22nd, that's Tuesday, it's Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, it'll be an online session, and we're going to ask the artists in residence who are available to pop on and just talk about their projects a little bit. So we've had sessions where we've heard from Art Matters grantees. We haven't heard yet really from the artist in residence. And that's because we wanted to get the artists in residence a chance to dig into their projects and ask questions and kind of go through that inquiry part. And not everybody has a project yet, and that's okay. We kind of expected on that one for the projects to develop over time. And again, this is as much about process, even more about process than product. So we really didn't want artists in residence to kind of meet their assignment, and the folks who are working on the committees or the departments that they're assigned to, and just giving them a project. Because the easy thing is to say, oh, well, you're a painter, so why don't you paint us something? Well, hold on, maybe we can learn more than just the fact that somebody can paint a picture for us. Maybe there are other ways that the creative practice can be put to work. And then let's see, Catherine, we've got another a third Monday gallery talk coming, and any highlights there for us? Did I lose her? Let's
You
see.
need to turn your mic on.
Okay, sorry, I always do that. Yes, we have a couple of folks that are going to be hoping to talk. We have Bryce Cobbs, Julie, I believe, who's on this call. And we have another person who kind of is going to come and talk. And she is not an exhibiting artist, but she coordinates art shows for the medical center, you know, one of the buildings down in that area. So anyhow, that's going to be exciting. And I don't have the country, but I mean, I don't have it on my desk right now, but each month we're getting a different sister city representative, and that's been really a wonderful opportunity for the folks who can make it, the artists, and just seeing these two groups of people who don't necessarily know much about each other, learn about each other, the artists and the community and this organization overlapping. Has been really fun to see that happen.
Great, thanks, Catherine. And Catherine's the Sister Cities artist in residence. And Catherine, you got something coming up on Saturday, right?
Yeah, I got that written down to talk about. I don't know if you want me to talk about it now, but it's coming up. So it's Saturday, 11 to 3 in the little plaza downtown called Century Plaza Park. It's a park, but most folks know it as Century Plaza. And it's been a very wonderfully received. We're still looking out for some knowledgeable tree stewards. Unfortunately, the same day is a tree planting, but we're hoping we're going to get some tree stewards there to talk about the ginkgo trees. And then we have a representative from each sister city who'll be able to talk about their project. I mean, their country and city, and we'll have some kids activities and some treats. So it should be a fun day. And we have 3 musicians. We got Aaron Hunter, Jordan Fallon, and Jason Long. So that we'll have some nice music, and just hopefully everybody come, bring your friends and family, come and just enjoy being downtown a little bit and in that beautiful space. I think it'd be wonderful if you all could come and support this.
Great, thanks a lot, Catherine. And then, okay, Art Matters grants. Okay, so remember we had funds for about 29 to 30 Art Matters grants. We are now, we've got 27 so far that the Arts Commission has approved upon recommendation by the review panel. we've still got a few out there that, and for a variety of reasons, I'm going to follow up with some folks. We had some terrific suggestions or ideas. Some involve murals. And with these funds, these federal funds, it really slows us down if we're going to do a mural with it. So we're not doing murals with this, but we have other resources through the Percent for Art program that we can do murals with. And so I've got some folks I want to follow back up with. I feel like we're kind of at peak mural in the community in a way. I just was walking through the municipal building yesterday and somebody said, "Hey, I love all the new murals." We dedicated the southeast ones a couple of weeks ago on the Greenway. There's one near Salem on the Greenway. Annie is going to talk tonight about what's happening at Art on First. They've done a nice little mural on a column, and we're seeing them pop up on just individual business owners who are putting artists to work, and we think that's terrific. So I think we can probably do a little bit more in that area. And we've still got some resources through the city to do that. Now, the Art Matters grant, so what I'll do is kind of run through these. And if somebody's on the call, I'll give you a chance to talk about it. Oh, look, Richie, your name keeps getting auto-corrected. Oh, Canada. It's fixed. It is fixed 5 times, I know, in that document. But Apple, whatever that is, Pages likes to undo it.
It's okay. It's the story of my life. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
So it should be Canada. But first, we'll just run down in order. There are 7 that are being approved in this round. One is Rachel Austin. Rachel's not on, I don't think. Okay. Rachel Austin is going to do an online topical art gallery, where the idea is that she's going to develop and manage an online gallery and engagement space that's going to focus on a few specific topics. There's a chance that this might interact with some other Art Matters grants. For instance, Fourth Down, Vicki Von Tassel McGrath is going to do a series of visual art series that's also going to have some music that she's going to perform underneath, like kind of a QR code tie-in with music and writing. She has a background as a journalist and she's a former art teacher. So she's going to focus on housing insecurity in the community through this kind of artistic reportage in a way. So there's a chance that maybe that could be, also tied in addition to having a physical exhibit in a space that she's going to identify. There's a chance that it could be tied into the topical art gallery. So I think there's going to be some interesting synergy perhaps around some of these. And then Richie Canaday. Richie, you want to tell us what your project's going to be?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Well, it's evolving. Right now, I'm really interested in learning more about very specifically the decision in 1949 to, instead of the Mill Mountain Star being a Christmas decoration, the decision that was made to make it lit year round, and to get very granular about what exactly happened, and also to play into the mythology, like maybe play into some historical fiction about how the star came to be, etc. And so I'm really excited about, first of all, the notion of process over product, big snaps to that, because I am super interested in where this project goes. But I've written a lot of plays, and I grew up in Roanoke, and I've loved the star my entire life, and so to meld those two things together is very exciting to me. So basically the idea is that I'm writing a romantic comedy Christmas play about the lighting of the Mill Mountain Star in 1949.
Terrific. Thanks a lot, Richie.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you've modeled the way. Amanda, you want to tell us about your project?
Yeah, so I came up with this idea actually in 2020 when the theater shut down originally. But originally I had hoped to do so the idea is the Marquee in Verse, and it's working with the Grandin Theater. And originally I had hoped to do a haiku, but turns out that the marquee spacing is going to be a kind of more of a couplet structure probably. But the goal is to kind of connect the poetry back to the Roanoke Valley and the surrounding environment, and then do an accompanying screening and workshop to talk about how historically, not just historically, but how the natural environment and the place that you're in can be an inspiration for poetry, and that poetry can ultimately be very visual. And so yeah, that's kind of it in summary.
Terrific. We had some Arts Commission members who were really excited by this and saying, we've been wanting a poetry project. We've been wanting a poetry project. So,
I'm very excited.
yeah. Thanks for making them happy. Yeah. And let's see. So Casey, I don't think Casey's on, but Casey's doing an interfaith pilgrimage project where she is creating art by going around to different denominations and different faiths, meeting with houses of worship and creating stepping stones that she makes from bulletins and art projects that she engages the members of the congregation in, and then she kind of molds them into stepping stones. And there's kind of the outreach and conversations that she's having with this. And I haven't talked with her since the gospel event at the Berglund Center, but she set up down there a few weeks ago, maybe even a month. That might be almost a month ago, and was working with people there. And so she had a great little setup and was really eager to get out and start working with some congregations. Okay, and let's see. Then well, there's Casey again. And then let's see, Bapine. I don't think Bapine's on. This one is at that intersection with local art and local food. And Bapine's going to work on a photo project, Faces of the Roanoke Food Shed. So interviewing and spending time with food leaders and folks who live here and help us get access to local food. So this is part of a larger project in a way, or it's tied a little bit to a larger project where there is a directory and work that's happening through Virginia Tech and the Food Shed Network. But there was no kind of artistic component. So he's applied for a grant to do a portrait series and an exhibit of these faces. And then Susie Young, I don't think Susie's on, but this is also at the intersection of food and art. And Susie's going to work with Star City Ballet students, and they're going to spend time in urban agricultural settings, working on the farm. Then they're going to write poetry and create a dance from that experience, and then perform that in outdoor spaces around town. So those are the 7 new ones. And I will say, I want to remind everybody that these are all the funding for these grants is coming from the National Endowment for the Arts, and it's through their ARPA funds. And they stopped giving grants to individual artists in the 90s. I think 94 they stopped. So they are really interested in how this is going. They were really excited when we figured out a way. We had been talking to them and said, is there a way that we could give operational grants to individual artists? So they worked with us and figured out, yeah, we could. And then I think there might be like 4 or 5 other cities that are doing the same, not the same way we're doing it, but giving grants to individual artists. So they're really interested in that. They're watching it because of that. And they also, I did hear from, they sent me an email on when we announced the last round, and because it comes up when it comes up in the press that they catch it. And they reached out to say that they were really excited about how broad our work is, because we're hitting so many different forms of art, and it's because we're having mini grants, right? We're getting these smaller grants so we can do a lot more, and it's not just visual art, it's not just performance It's a nice blended mix. So feel good about that. All right, and then let's see, I need to go back. Okay, so Annie, I think I have your website up. I can pull that up, or I can just stop sharing the screen and give the floor to you. If you,
Okay, hi. So yeah, we are downstairs in our space. So I want to tell you a little bit about our new venture. This is Rick Sheridan, my partner, and we had this empty space that we could use. Used to be a lingerie store with really interesting mannequins in the windows. Anybody who ever walked by there before? So we decided to make it an art space. Part of it is my studio, and then because I paint, Rick is a photographer, and then we decided we wanted to do something really interesting and different with the rest of it. So we are opening what we're calling Art on First, and it's a creative space. Some of it's a gallery, and we will be selling art, pottery, anything that's artistic, whatever. We have cards and prints and things like that. They're all original. They're not, we're not going to sell like, birthday cards. You can get those at CVS, but we're going to sell art cards and prints. But also what we really want to use this space for is to fill a gap that we feel might be in the Roanoke Valley. And a lot of what I've learned about all of this, it came from the Downtown Roanoke Arts Collaborative project that was funded by Doug's office and the count and the commission. We organized 8 galleries in downtown Roanoke, and a few of them some of them are participating than others, but I got to know a lot more artists. I got to know a lot of people in the arts, and I think that all the galleries, there's some wonderful galleries downtown. They're just really high quality art. And we want to find a way to support emerging artists. And I talked with somebody on the phone today who was interested in this and wanted to show here and wanted to enter our show. And she said, well, I'm not really emerging. I was an artist before, and I got some health problems, and now I'm kind of coming back into it, and I want to show my art, and I'm not sure what to do or how to do it. And I said, so you're a re-emerging artist? And she said, I like that. So we want to support emerging and re-emerging artists, people who are not in a gallery, maybe, and people who wouldn't normally get the chance to show their art in a gallery type setting. So I can show you kind of on my screen. This is our space. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm plugged into about 14 different power cords. So we have this part is our sort of our retail store, and we are still putting it together. And we also have a place for prints. And then back here is a classroom. We're also looking for teachers who are interested in teaching classes. I see Gina was on here, but I don't see her anymore. She taught a class for us a while ago. And we have this giant wall right here, and that's where our exhibition is going to be. And we're hoping that a lot of people will go on our website and apply to show their art here. It will start on December 2nd. That's going to be the grand opening of our space. And we're also open for poetry readings, and we're pretty flexible for how this can be a creative space. And we really want people to use your imagination, how you might use it, because maybe we haven't thought of everything that we can use it for. In the future, we hope to have movies. Rick's background is cinema and photography, and he used to direct plays in New York. And so he's had a lot of experience with that. So we're really open to anything. And with all the creativity that's on this call and in this project, we want to be a part of that, and we want to offer our space as a part of that. So hopefully, if you go on our website, and Doug, you have it, you sent it out. Thank you very much with the link. if you go on our website, there's this little streaming line at the top that says enter here, and you can enter. And we kind of took a page from Open Studios. It's the same kind of form. You just tell us a little bit about who you are. You don't have to have a formal artist statement. You don't have to have a bio. You just have to say, who are you and why are you doing that? Why are you doing art, or why do you want to enter this? And then just send us a couple of images so we know what kind of art you have and what kind of space we need to prepare for you. And we were also asking for people to tell us, how much space do you need? What type of space do you need? Do you have sculpture? Do you have pottery? Do you have paintings? So there's our website, and that's our building. And you can see the little orange mural on the side that was done by Tubes for us in the style of the Klimt Tree of Life, which one of our favorite paintings. So look for the Tree of Life on the corner, and that's how you'll find us. We're at First and Kirk. And so please pass the word along. We'd really like to, anybody is welcome. We'd really like to get people who want to get out there and show their work, but just haven't mustered the whatever it takes to try to get into a gallery. And so that's what our gallery is for right now. And there are lots of other things that we're going to do in the future, but right now this is going to be our opening. So we hope that people will apply and get in. It's not like we're going to turn anybody away, but we got to have some way to get in touch with people. So that's what the application's about. And let us know if you have any questions. I'm here most of the time. Because that's where my studio is. And so if anybody wants to drop by and say hi, I'm going to put a sign on the door that says open by chance or appointment, because I don't want to work behind a desk all day waiting for people to come in and buy stuff. So if I'm here, the lights are on, we're open. So I guess that's, if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, thank you for the time. And I see Laura Egbert's on here. She's helping us with this website. So we have a lot of work to do, but we're looking forward to getting as many people as we can to participate.
Anybody have any questions? I will give a shout out to on the collective, the gallery collective that Annie's been working with all the galleries really closely, and they just did that grid project. And I know some folks on here. Kelly, you were part of the gallery grid project, weren't you?
Yes, I was. It's the first time I got to get involved with the whole Art in Roanoke project. So I was really happy to get to be a part of that.
Yay. Well, we gave away about 500 of those 6x9 panels to artists all over the place from age 5 to age 80 something. And we had, I think, 400 that were sent back. We had lots and lots and lots of participation. It was so exciting to see and so much fun. We had everything from this little 5-year-old who painted a picture of snowman melting at the North Pole, because the theme at that gallery was climate change. And then we had, just everything from that to professional artists. So it was lots of fun.
Very fun.
Yeah, the galleries just were really humming that night. It seemed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. There were so many people downtown. It was a lot of fun. So and the money that we made from it will go into our future projects with the galleries. And now we are a part of that gallery. Art on First is also part of that collective. So thank you, Doug, for all your support.
No, thank you. I think all I've done is go, yeah, that's great. I'm a cheerleader.
So 9 in total now. 9 in total galleries.
No, really 8. They're coming and going. So a couple people are on the fence about whether they can participate or not. So I'm working on that.
Yeah. And it's fun sometimes, you know, and we were talking about this with another project. Sometimes it's project based, right? You start doing
Yeah.
cool projects, we'll go, okay, yeah, I can see now, I can see how I want to be part of that.
Right.
And it's hard sometimes in the abstract.
Yeah. And now we are getting past, now the grant period is over December 1st. So we have become an LLC. So now this downtown collective we're going to hopefully continue our projects. So we'll
And
see.
and
Stay tuned.
Yeah, and it's just really important for our ecosystem. You know,
Mhm.
if there are individual artists in the community, I know there are many ways that artists can sell their work and promote themselves. But I think, you know, the galleries are a fantastic way, especially when you think about, and I don't know, when I'm in other parts of the state and people say, oh, you're from Roanoke. I love staying at the Hotel Roanoke and coming across that bridge. And then you go down and it's all these independent shops and you don't see any chains. And
Right.
then you step into a gallery and you're like, wow, okay, look, here's something that's handmade here in Roanoke and I can take this back as a souvenir. I just think it's a very important part of our downtown and of our community.
And I
And
have to give a shout out to Market Gallery because I wrote the grant originally for Market Gallery and we went through all sorts of machinations before we got to this point. But Rick and I both have our art at Market Gallery as well as at here. So there are a lot of really, really great artists in really good galleries. And we hope to be one that will support the up and coming artists and the people who, you know, are sort of not in that gallery world yet. Or maybe don't want to be in the full gallery world, whatever.
And just to reinforce it, what's the deadline for reaching out to you or applying for the form?
We didn't put a deadline in there, but it would be nice because this is November and it's December 2nd. So just a couple of weeks would be really good before Thanksgiving for us to know who's doing what, when, and where. So we'll know how to mount the show.
And Samantha will keep putting it in the call so that we know, so that the artists we're talking to know about it. And so if you do set a deadline, let Samantha know and we'll.
Yeah, we need to set a deadline. And that's one of those things that, you know, as you go through planning, you go, oh yeah, there's that. So let's set a deadline for November 15th.
It's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. So if people can get their information in by November 15th, because we have to have time to hang the show and know who's going to be here and how many people are going to be there. So we hope we get a lot of people. It's a huge wall. There's plenty of space for everybody. And we're going to be a host for Open Studios in April too. So we're going to be hopping around here for a while. Please come by and visit us if we're open.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Rick. Yeah. And again, do stop by and see them. It's these connections that we hope we keep multiplying and expanding. Yeah.
And we are looking for teachers too. If anybody wants to teach a class, do a workshop, poetry reading, whatever, let us know.
Or needs a photography studio to shoot in.
Said the photographer.
Says the photographer, yes.
Sorry, there he is.
Shooting.
That is a multi-purpose space. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, it's so big.
Mm-hmm. Great, and it'll be nice to see life in it as well. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, those are original lights from what, 1910?
Those are 1930s.
This building's like 100 years old, and those lights are 1930 original lights. They are not, like just hanging at their glass, and they're really cool.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks again. We appreciate you reaching out and making this opportunity available. And so next, I'd like to take some time and do a little bit of celebrating. Anything that's happening with projects, we'd like to hear some. Samantha's on the call, and Samantha is charged. She's writing the big book. She's doing a podcast. So she's already done a couple of episodes. She might be calling you if you're working on a project or something fun. and having you sit down and do a conversation with her. But at the end of this, we want to have a guide, basically a cool book that has case studies that talks about how we're doing things as a community in Roanoke, so that we're learning as we go. And so let's hear some of how things are going, because Samantha's listening like this, because she might be wanting to follow up. And we need to get pictures too. Yeah, and that's another thing. Catherine Schnabel sent out a reminder today, if anybody's under contract for a grant, where she said, "Hey, here's an example of Christine Carr out at GoFest," and showed a picture of it and told the story. That's why she's sending those monthly reports out. Not everybody has anything to report yet, but when you do start having it, feed us those images and those stories, and we'd love to share them. So let's see. Okay, I want to call on John, because I know John's got some progress report.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And I just wanted to say congratulations to all the people who received their new Art Matters grant. I'm looking forward to see what happens with all that. And yeah, so I received a Art Matters grant to do a 3D printer workshop. And, I've been I wanted to do it at every single library, and I was having a little trouble as far as coordinating that with them. But luckily they emailed me last week and they said, "Oh, that'd be incredible. We would really like you to do that." So I'm going to rotate once a month to every single library in Roanoke City, bring a 3D printer and offer free classes, and show the kids and even adults how to 3D print, how to repair a printer, some of the software that's available online for free. And then let's see, at the end of it, we're going to find a library, because actually Roanoke County has a 3D printer in their library and they offer the services online. And I think that would be a great thing for Roanoke City, because that is not available. I've researched and haven't been able to find one anywhere in any of the libraries. So I want to donate a 3D printer to the library, whichever one wants it the most and feels like they're comfortable with offering those services, and just keep going from there. So
Fantastic. And I tell you, if the library doesn't take you up on the 3D printer, the Parks and Recreation has Fishburne Mansion, and they're outfitting the recording studio up there. And so I don't know if they have space, but Lauren Woodrum she's on one of the Arts Commission's committees. She's on our placemaking committee. No, she's on our collections committee, and she's an artist. So her heart's around this stuff too. But I bet one of the libraries will get excited, and it might be a matter of those young people who you're working with getting excited, and then the librarian sees that and says, "Okay, let's figure out how to make this happen." I can't wait to see what happens. I also want to sit in on one of those. I'm fascinated. I have one of your, I have one of your, it's on my hood.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it there on the hood? That's
yeah, I do. Nice.
Yeah, John, do you have dates yet for those?
Do I have what?
Do you have dates yet for those workshops?
I wanted to start it in, I guess, probably January 1st to start at the beginning of the new year. So I'm working on this flyer right now. And so I'm putting it together and, I'm going to get the whole, everything all set up. So I think December or January would be good.
Fabulous.
And I've been on the phone some with Charlie, and Charlie's got a date coming up of November 23rd. Charlie, what's going to happen on November 23rd? And that's there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm having to relearn how to navigate on Zoom here, but yeah. So to kick off the benediction project, that's going to be a sculpture titled Benediction in a pose sort of like that, be on loan to places of worship around the city. to kick it off, we're going to install it on the downtown side of the Martin Luther King Bridge. And then after 20 days, it's going to not maybe on its own power, but it's going to walk across the bridge and be installed on the other side. And that will be 40 days. And that's the time period that each place of worship who participates by having this sculpture in front of their place of worship in public view. That's the time period each place will have it. So they'll have the sculpture for 40 days and 40 nights, and it will spend 40 days and 40 nights at the Martin Luther King Bridge to kick it off. So that will, take us right up until January 1, where the first place of worship to participate will be, oh, help me, Doug, the
Central Church of the Brethren.
The Central Church of the Brethren. Kevin Kinsey's church has been in touch with us, and they want to be first on the list. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. And you know what I'll do? I want to tell everybody as well, and this is really, well, I'm excited about all of these projects. I'm really excited about seeing things starting to happen. And I know that we're just getting under contract with a lot of folks. But this spring, I think it's just the cumulative effect of all of this is going to be really exciting. I'm going to pull something up too, just to show you. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so I'm at the RoanokeArts.org website, and I think everybody's been there. And like right smack dab on the front is the celebration of the Year of the Artist when we packed council chambers back in July. And then if you look, you remember we've got the YOTA kind of website where we've got projects and resources. And then my plan is that there where we have Art Matters projects, when you click on that I'm going to have everybody's projects listed. So we've got one sample page up here, and that's for Charlie's benediction project. So Charlie's given me information. We've been working the last couple of weeks as he's getting prepared for this. And it has a description of it. It says, here's where it's going to first be. There's the video that Charlie had done for us when he couldn't make it to one of these calls, one of these YOTA calls. There's a link to his website. There's going to be, or there is a flyer for more information, just a quirky thing. It doesn't underline it when it's bulleted. There's you can click on it for a flyer for more information. You can go to the Facebook page where there'll be images of the sculpture as it moves around town. And then it says, contact Charlie below about hosting the sculpture at your house of worship. So then there's just a form, and it goes to Charlie and it goes to me just in case there's just as a little backup. And then really badly formatted information that I put on there early this morning. I need to get back in there and fix that. More background. But the idea is that each of these projects will have a page, and it is a page so that Charlie's is called RoanokeArts.org/benediction. And so for each one of your projects, if it's helpful for you to have a place where you can point people to, where we can archive all the information, Samantha's going to be able to grab things there and put things there. Just so you know, that's there and available, and you can use it however it benefits your project. All right. And then let's see, anybody else have any updates? Let's see.
Little update about museum stuff. Just we have at the Tallman Museum of Art, we have a lot of stuff open right now, and we have our European paintings up, and that they're actually doing a really cool thing where they have underwritten tours for Roanoke City schools, so they don't have to pay. So if you know any Roanoke City teachers who want to take their students on a field trip to see these wonderful works of art that will never be in Roanoke ever again, they can go for free. And we have a wonderful tours coordinator right now. And there's various other discounts associated with that exhibition. Educators get in, institutional members get in for free. Others get in for discounts. So I just wanted to put that out there because not everybody knows about the tours that are happening. So
And Samantha, you should mention the immersive. I think it's our first immersive exhibit, which was created by our community artists and musicians.
yes, so we have in that exhibition, along with these European masterworks, was an immersive experience created that is similar to the Van Gogh experience, where you walk into this room and you are immersed in music that was created by Dr. Gordon Marsh at Roanoke College, actually. And these paintings, there are 6 paintings that were brought to life and kind of turned into a video of sorts that are on all 4 walls and the floor of this gallery space. And that work was done by David Franisich, who's at Virginia Tech. So that's something that's brand new too. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend.
Excellent. I didn't realize that was that Gordon did that. Gordon did the music part of that. That must be his sabbatical project. Is he still on sabbatical?
Yeah, it wasn't his sabbatical project. Cindy called him and said, "We need this," and he told her that she was crazy, but he did it anyway. Along with, so he extended his trip. He was supposed to go to Mexico for his sabbatical, and he moved things around to make this happen. So,
gotcha. And let's see. Hold on, I gotta pull the chat up. Okay, we got a private mural incorporating Roanoke. What's that?
Let's see, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Let's see if this video works. Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm a muralist in New River Valley, and this private client contacted me about last week, and it's on 1025 Campbell Avenue. He has like a little garage, and it's about like a 50-foot wall, averages about 4 feet high. And I'm going to be designing it here in the next couple of weeks, and then trying to get some media out there as it progresses and stuff like that. So pretty excited to see what's going to happen with that and what I can design. I'm going to try to incorporate a mural on the wall, but also 3-dimensional objects coming off of it. So it's going to be a pretty interesting build, and see how it comes out.
Excellent. And I know you had, let's see, when I talked to you before, you were interested in doing bigger and bigger.
Yeah. You did.
Did you do at the Merck? Did you do the mural down there? Were you involved in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the Draper Mercantile. So the Draper Mercantile was a 165-foot wall, averaged about 8 feet high. I actually have bigger walls that I've done since then. They're all on my website. If anybody's interested, they can ask later. But
you can go. You can type it. You can type it in the chat. Everybody can check it out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go bigger and better with every big project that I can. So we just push the limits, because these buildings are just massive and they're an open canvas to me. So just making sure that it fits the community and fits the beautification standards of Roanoke. That's really my goal, and my goal going forward with other cities and stuff like that is help beautifying the county or city with art, but also keeping it pretty nice looking. So that's the goal. That makes sense.
Terrific. And I see Maggie's on here, and I just gotten exposed to some of Maggie's work recently. I don't know if she might not be right there and able to undo. If she pops on, we'll see. But she's doing some neat stuff as well. Great. Yeah, thanks for and that's 10. What was the address again? 1025?
It's 1025 Campbell. It splits off the road, and the garage, it'll be on the right-hand side down like that other, I don't know what the other, I'm not really familiar with.
Right. Yeah, right there.
It should be 1025 Campbell. I think it's southwest. So it's more in the neighborhood. And there's like a garage that sits right there, and it's like perked up on a hill, and it'd be that retaining wall that goes down the side. So he wants to incorporate Roanoke in the community as much as possible. So that's why I really want to, get that project going.
Yeah. So it's that old transmission shop.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
there. He's been there for quite a while. It's I think it's white and green. And he likes
Yep.
Texaco colors. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
it used to have a sign on it saying the transmission shop, years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
well, terrific. Yeah.
yeah. I'll keep you guys. I guess I'll keep the group. I'll probably be attending these meetings more, but I'll try to keep posted and everything with the year of the artist or anything if I can do it before the end of the year. So we'll try to do that.
Great, great. Yeah, we love more art, more
Yeah,
art now.
more the merrier.
Yeah. And Jane, you've got a date coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I'm working on staging and stuff for Roanoke Remembers, which is on November 20th at Patrick Henry High School at 3 p.m. This is an event to honor and memorialize folks taken by gun violence in the last several years. So I encourage you guys to come to that if you can. And just prior to that, on the 16th at also 3 p.m. Is the emergence of the Empathy Project, which has been something I've worked with Chris Roberts of the Youth and Gang Violence Task Force and Brian Brown Hancock, who is, of course, a tremendous artist and a poet. And basically, we've worked together to memorialize 3 people in our community who have been taken by gun violence with a combination of poetry and a mural. And so all of this will be revealed on the 16th. And what follows is sort of a media blitz all around on the Civic Center. What do you call those? Billboards and other Lamar billboards around the city, just trying to encourage empathy from our fellow Roanokeers as to the fact that each one of these gun deaths is somebody's son, mother, daughter, father with a rich life. And we need to pay more attention and give more support to those families.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. It's really important work. And you listened, you sat with and listened and our testimony. Yeah.
Right. We sat with the families, 2 2-hour sessions, and it's very intense. I mean, as you can surely understand, hearing about their loved one and how it happened and what the aftermath was, it changes you. It really, really does.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that work. Yeah. But Polly, do you have anything happening?
I can share a little bit for O2. He does an overnight shift, so he can't make these meetings, but I'll try to encourage him or show him how. So he's been doing African drumming the last 8 weeks, and so we've kind of visited different places. The Envision Center, as that it was getting opened, and while the Harvest Collective was creating a garden there, and Community Arts Reach was coming out to do art projects. We introduced O2 as well, so that he could meet some of the family members and start some of his drumming classes and teach about West African drum rhythms and stories that go hand in hand with those rhythms, such as coming of age and or whatever stories are told in a community. And so he's yeah, it was really nice introducing him to some of the youth that we'd been working with for a while, and many of them also with really trauma stories. So once again, seeing how actually participating in the arts and giving kids and moms or family members opportunities to, bliss out for a while and drum, is what I love to see happening with the arts and people participating, finding that outlet. So he had a performance last Saturday at the Melrose Library, which was exciting and fun. People participated. And the next one is this Saturday, 4:30 at the Claude Moore Complex, part of Local Colors celebration, focus on African cultures. And so the media out says 5 o'clock, doors open at 4:30. If you want to see him in the groups playing the drums and dancing, come at 4:30 early. It's like, I guess it ended up being a big schedule, so they kind of pushed us towards the front end. So the early arrivals will get the energy and excitement of the drumming. So
Well,
Polly, I'd be happy to have some, if you have any flyers or anything for the same event on Saturday, we'd be happy to pass that out at our Kenya sculpture for Sister Cities, which is on also November 5th. So let me know how we can help promote what you've got going on that evening and tie it in with people who might come out for both events that day.
will do. Thanks.
and check in too with Mary Ann. She might have reached out to Lisa Spencer about that too, about getting those flyers. Yeah, it's a great chance for some cross promotion. Well, we're here at time. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? And what I'll do is stop the recording, and if anybody has any challenges they're working on or any questions that they want to, I can linger around a little bit. And if anybody has anything they want to dig into. And with that, I'll thank you all for taking the time. This has been energizing for me. I guess again, I would like to be in person, but I know there's a downside of being in person too, because I've liked watching people continue doing their work some of you are doing a couple of things at one time, like working on a drawing while we're doing this, and that's kind of cool as well. But we'll keep doing a mix of in-person and virtual. And I hope in the spring we'll have some really good, some more really good in-person sessions. I enjoy building these relationships. So thank you very much for taking the time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.